we just mentioned that that some of our leaders are now challenging how the global system's working. But I want us to take it back home first. Now, we want investors, but something we need to have to enable us to attract the kind of investors we want and keep them on the continent. I think it's about the way our own legal systems work. So as a lawyer, does the legal systems of the countries you have been working with, are they adequate to resolve disputes? I mean, if I want investors, at least I need to assure them that their investment is secure.
Yes.
Legally. So
yes.
how are we doing in that area?
Well, listen, I mean, I think that every country is different when it comes to legal systems and how developed they are. So, for example, if you look at the Kenyan legal system, especially with the strides that they've had because of their constitution, you would say that the justice system is more free and impartial than, let's say, a country in Tanzania, where you have the executive, the president is the one that appoints all the judges.
Wow.
You know, can we really say that where there is a dispute, where the government is a party, and it's a dispute that whereby the stakes are very high, that investors can really trust that the justice system is going to be impartial and fair in rendering justice? I'll let you want to answer that. But I think that from what I have seen, it's not only about the justice system in Africa.
Okay.
It's also about us as individuals. How committed are we to the rule of law?
Ooh. That's a big question.
Yeah. How committed are we to the rule of law? How committed are we to agreements and contracts? And you still find that, forget about the justice system, but just in terms of the rapport that private parties are having.
Yeah.
I think that there needs to be more that can be done in terms of really respecting contracts, respecting the word, the commitment that you take. And, I think that there's a lot that needs to be done there. But also then when you look at our leaders, how committed are they to uphold the rule of law? And we see that sometimes it's a little bit challenging to really just respect the law, even if it's not really something
in your favor.
And if you don't like it, then follow the process to amend it, to change it, as opposed to getting very comfortable using executive orders for everything. And by the way, we see this in the US as well, right? It's not only an African issue.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there are those layers, I think, also that need to be dealt with.
Yeah.
But then also, definitely, when you're talking about investment, right now, for example, in Tanzania, the largest investment that we're looking at is the LNG project.
Okay.
Right. And this is a multi-billion, not even million, billion dollar project. And we've seen laws change to essentially accommodate international arbitration.
Okay.
For these types of investments, meaning that in the event of a dispute, the dispute resolution mechanisms are not going to be in Tanzania, but are most likely going to be in London or New York, or, you know, essentially outside of the continent. And I think that maybe we're not really understanding what that really means. Because it's of course it's about the impartiality of the justice system and for the justice system to deliver justice, right? And how likely are they going to be able to? But also countries like the UK are favored nations for dispute resolution because of years and centuries of decision making that they have. So an abundance of decisions, right, of precedents that exist, so that in the most unlikely event of some matter, you're going to find a precedent in the UK. Right. Why? Because you have so many cases over the years. This is a preferred place for dealing with disputes, right? So if we're not committed to improving our justice system so that parties can choose it with confidence, that the justice system develops precedents so that the market becomes mature enough to accommodate investments that are strategic. So it's not only that lens that we sometimes like to look at, it's much broader than that. We keep being comfortable, if our leaders keep giving away, making concessions, saying, okay, you know what, for your disputes, we accept international arbitration. When is your local justice system going to be developed?
Good. That's a good question. Okay. See, like you said, even disputes with two local parties, right? We are not sure that the judge, that the system will work without partiality. I mean, see, most of us don't really understand what rule of law means. Many of us think it's just a catchphrase of the West. One thing is this, that I have found, and it worries me about young Africans, because I tell them one thing: read. I beg them, please read. And very few of us want to read. It's again, I say this, it seems I'm banging on this thing all the time, but I bang on because it's important. It's if we want to develop, we need to look at the countries that are ahead of us and ask ourselves, why? How did they do it? You see, there's no country who have developed that didn't first had a large population of their country read. See, the rule of law was very, very consequential for the Britain becoming the first industrialized nation in the world.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's definitely it's a great point. But the experience that I have, especially when I'm working with, let's say, local investors or business people, is that a lot of the time they don't even sometimes some of them don't even care about contracts. So for example, you give them a contract and they'll just sign and
without reading it.
And they're like, it's okay, because they feel that, if it goes to the justice system, I can always find a way.
Yeah.
So I think there needs to be a lot of work needs to be done on that to change the mindset, and to get people to just realize that rule of law is not just some Western concept, and that in Africa we can just do about it. Rule of law exists, even the rule of law exists even in the, because religion is a huge thing in Africa, and all the scriptures.
Yeah.
It's the rule of law.
Yeah.
So it's a Western concept. It's just needed for a society to work.
Yeah.
And when you're looking at investments, if you can't guarantee to investors that if you come and invest, your money here, that if ever anything goes wrong, there's a justice system that at least,
you get something back. Yeah.
Yes. If we can't do that, then
nobody invests. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Or we'll always have lower quality types of investment that because no one is really willing to take that risk.
Yeah.